It is Tuesday, December 22nd, 2020. I'm Pastor Thor Ramsey with Center Church. This is Gospel for Five, where we take 5 minutes out of our day and focus on the gospel because Jesus is the gospel. So It is Tuesday, December 22nd, 2020. I'm Pastor Thor Ramsey with Center Church. This is Gospel for Five, where we take 5 minutes out of our day and focus on the gospel because Jesus is the gospel. We're revisiting this segment of Scripture, verses 21 through, really the rest of the chapter. We haven't gone over all chapter 4. I don't believe, but if we have, we're revisiting it. Okay. Can you remember from one day to the next? I can't these days for some reason. Okay. So here we are. We ended up yesterday in verse 20. Paul's perplexed about these Galatians that he preached the gospel to. You're saved by grace plus nothing. And they were bamboozled by these false believers who came in and preached grace plus a law. And Paul's saying, tell me, you who desire to be under the law, right? Do you not listen to the law? For it is written that Abraham had 2 sons. So if you're saying, so he's basically saying to them, all right, I preached to you, you're saved by grace plus nothing. And for some reason, you want to add to the grace. You want to say I'm saved by grace plus this thing I did, this law I followed. Are you not familiar with the law? Do you not understand what the law can do to your soul if you're trying to be accepted by it? Because that's the key right there. Right? It's not that Christians shouldn't do some things and should do other things. That's a given. But in the gospel, we don't do things and withhold from other things in order to be accepted. We do and we do not because we are accepted. So they're making part of their acceptance the following of this law. So Paul's saying, have you not read the law? Are you not familiar with it? For it's written, then he's giving us an example from the Old Testament, from the Bible. For it's written that Abraham had 2 sons, one by a slave woman. So in other words, the slave is not free. And he's going to make the point that if you want to put yourself under the law, you're not going to be free. And one by a free woman, and he makes the contrast. But the son of the slave woman was born according to the flesh. All right, so if you want to be saved by the law, if you want to add law to the gospel, then that is self-effort. In other words, that is flesh. That's your doing. So that's what he's comparing the slave woman's son to. The law, trying to be saved by the law, trying to be accepted by the law. But the son of the slave was born according to the flesh, while the son of the free woman was born through promise. God says, I'm going to do this for you, Abraham. I'm going to bless every nation on the face of the earth through your family line, through this seed that will come through your family. God's going to do it. Grace plus nothing. Now, this may be interpreted allegorically, Paul writes. These women are 2 covenants. One is from Mount Sinai, bearing children for slavery. So that would be the Mosaic covenant, the law. She is Hagar. Now, Hagar is Mount Sinai in Arabia. She corresponds to the present Jerusalem. In other words, to the Jews today, he's saying of their day, to the Jews of their day, who are trying to make themselves right with God through the law. So she corresponds to the present Jerusalem, for she is in slavery with her children. And what do they find when they try to make themselves accepted by God through following the law? That the law shows them they're sinners. So the law shows them they're in bondage. Or they are externally successful in following the law, such as the 10 Commandments, and they become self-righteous. Both devastating things. One leading to condemnation, the other leading to a pride, and God is opposed to the proud. Now Hagar is Mount Sinai in Arabia. She corresponds to the present Jerusalem. for she is in slavery with her children. But the Jerusalem above is free, and she is our mother. So he's making this stark contrast. Would you like to be someone who's either feeling condemned all the time, or someone who is so proud that you have no sense of the presence of God in your life? You want those two choices, or do you want to be free and enjoy the house that the Father's invited you into? Now, what has God said to you today? What do you